Hello, everyone. It's me, Bobbie D. It's Tuesday. And what do we do on Tuesdays? We talk. Tuesday Talks with Bobbie D is sponsored by Vibrant Souls Health and Wellness. You can find them on Instagram and you can email them at vibrantsouls@gmail.com. Tuesday Talks with Bobbie D begins right now. All right. Now, well, as I said, of course, on Tuesdays we have our talks, and we are just about a little over a week, right, before Halloween begins. But of course, as we all know, um, it's already the spooky season, as we like to call it around here. And people have already, it's October already, but they've been drinking pumpkin spice uh, since August, really. And one thing I did want to discuss is trunk or treat. And Sam C and I have already done one trunk or treat. As you know, I teach at two different places, one at a preschool in a church and one at a community center. And the preschool had its second annual trunk or treat this past weekend, and it was great. We had a wonderful time, and believe it or not, which of course, as you all know, when trick-or-treating, right, it's always very, very chilly, and most of the time you can't see the costume that the children are wearing because they got a big old coat over top of it. But this year here in Pittsburgh, it was hot. It was in the 70s. I couldn't believe it. But it couldn't have been a more beautiful coming together of community and families, church folk, and it was just a lovely event. Sam C and I decorated our car, and we made our own Hershey's mobile, so to speak, and painted things that looked like Hershey's Kisses and painted boxes to make them look like Hershey chocolate bars, and just had balloons and all kinds of fun things. And people really did seem to enjoy. Now, last year, both years, I should say, have been Sam C's idea. Last year, I don't know if you remember, we did a whole Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers theme. And as you know, those of you who know Sam C personally, he is the biggest Pittsburgh sports fan ever that I've ever seen. And he has all kinds of paraphernalia for Steelers and Steeler towels and jerseys and hats and all these different things. So he used all of those things to decorate our vehicle, and it was great. It was a huge success at both places, and everybody was just going wild, which was so nice. And so it's not quite as big of a pull this year because, again, as I said last year, Pittsburgh Steelers around here are, huge. Pittsburgh sports. We here in Pittsburgh, especially this part of Pennsylvania, we're becoming a foodie town, but we've always been down for our sports. So I feel like more people were into it last year, but people were into it again this year. I do agree. And, Sam C and I were thinking, well, maybe more Pittsburgh sports. I don't know. But it was a huge deal last year. Did really well so far this year. We're going to do it again for this coming weekend when it happens at the community center. And it's just fun. It's a beautiful time. People, it's a safe space. That's the first thing. A lot of times, especially nowadays, people are concerned about walking children around, in the dark and, on the streets. And, you just don't know. And not a lot of people truly know their neighbors and who they're going to and whose house they're going to. So having it at a church, trunk and treat at your church or at your job in some type of parking lot or something is a really good way for children to get that experience. It's not dark either when you leave. Ours was from 4 to 6 Eastern, and it went over very well, and you were able to, clear everything out, and most people were gone by about 6:05. So it really, really goes over well. And shout out to my teaching partner, who I didn't know she was going to show up, and she didn't even register. She said, "Nope, Bobbie D, I just showed up," and there we go. So I said, next year, if you decide to do it next year, let us know, because we're going to just have our own little corner. So you can meet up with friends and coworkers and just have a good time, just laughing. Most trunk or treats only last 2 hours. Why not? Just have a good time. And again, it's a safe space. It's a lot of fun. And it's, out in the air, out in the open, just a beautiful, beautiful time. Now, I'll think about it. I might do a part 2 next week. I don't know. Maybe I will. I'll think about it. But nonetheless, I do thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you learned something. If you still have the opportunity, I would imagine that you do. You can probably, if you live close by to a company or a church or something that's having a trunk or treat, you could do so. So I suggest that you go ahead, decorate your car, and just have a good time passing out candy outside, out of the trunk of your car. Also, I forgot to tell you, oftentimes these places will ask for not only, people to volunteer their trunk and their time, but they do often ask for candy donations. So if you're like, I don't really feel like doing all that, donate some candy. And trust me, it really is helpful, because you do run out of candy very quickly. I think we probably had over 200 children. So it was fabulous, and it was worth it. Totally worth it to see the happiness on the kids' faces. A lot of them were and are my students. So it was exciting, and it was lovely to introduce those families to SAMC, and just so they could, they see me, at school all the time. So it was good for him to be there too, as a wonderful extension of our family. So people know, well, it's not just Mrs. Cubbage by herself. She does have somebody, somebody in her family. She's got more than just herself. So, so please consider doing that and just having a good time. It's a fun little event, and it only takes 2 hours of your time. That's all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you again really, really soon. Make sure to like, click, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 150 subscribers. We're at 143 right now. We have a contest going. So if you check us out on our live show on Saturday, you can find out what's going on. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again really, really soon. Have a great Tuesday.